Sandip Ghose, and you're watching the Ghose Spot, my short takes on politics and current affairs. The news this week is all about the Congress Chintan Shivir happening in Udaipur. Rahul Gandhi traveled by train from Delhi to Udaipur, with Congress supporters thronging each major station, creating a great deal of excitement and hype before the event. People have been critical somewhat about the whole proceedings. And to be honest, even I have passed a few critical comments. But to be fair, this is the first time Congress is showing some energy, some traction, some seriousness in the last few years. And it must be said of Sonia Gandhi, ever since she moved forward to take charge, the reins of the party back from Rahul and her children, I think she has been able to infuse a greater sense of purpose and direction in the party. Now, let's be frank, no matter what people say, the Congress in its current form, to imagine it without the Gandhis, won't work. There are no leaders around who are of substance or who are of stature, who can assume the leadership of the party. Even if somebody were to be appointed or elected, that person will be more like a kind of a titular head or an executive, but the real power strings will remain with the party. So I think that's something people need to stop debating about. So if there has been a resolution passed about one ticket per family and with certain conditions which presumably leave the Gandhis out of the thing, I think that these are very minor consideration, at least at the moment. If Congress has to move forward, these things have to be set aside and see that if they can get their act together, get their organization revved up, and move forward with a proper strategy and planning as they approach 2024. And to that extent, whatever one might say of these kind of gatherings, I think these gatherings do create are a moral booster for the party cadre and also the senior leadership, because they get a chance. I don't think when it was the last time, probably it was in Jaipur a few years back, and then there was a session in Delhi when there was such a large gathering of congressmen. And so when something like this is happening, there are deliberations happening, irrespective of the quality of deliberations, people get a sense of involvement, a sense of belonging. And that is something which I think one has to recognize. And even the rest, and it's a message not just for the BJP, but it's also a message for the other opposition parties, the regional parties, who have been trying to jostle for space in this whole opposition alliances, and which will be the Rainbow Coalition or whatever people are talking to oppose BJP in 2024. To that extent, Rahul Gandhi's statement today to the suggestion by some party men that Congress should look at alliances with regional parties, it might sound a bit arrogant, it might sound standoffish, but Rahul Gandhi is saying that only Congress has the ability to beat BJP. I don't think it's really misplaced. Now, the key, of course, will be where does things go from here? My view would be, they should not be wasting too much time for optics and creating, the form of showing that there is an organization and everything. Get the right people in the right place and really get moving. In that, there is a very, I think, important development to that extent, or significant development, I would say, was the resignation of Sunil Jhakar yesterday when he had a fairly emotional and strong speech for the Gandhis there. One of the things he said, Gandhis have to figure out, apart from figuring out who are friends and who are non-friends, they need to figure out who are assets and who are the liabilities. And this is a very key point. So if you see, pictures of this Chintan Shivir happening, the kind of people who are surrounding Rahul and Sonia, there are a lot of them are part of the old guard who have been, clinging on to power without really any base, just by virtue of their being they being there. And that is where there has to be a shake-up. You need to get people who can actually deliver on the ground, who have some kind of a vision, also their own ambition to see the party succeed, even for the selfish motive of their surviving, their ensuring their future. And these are kind of people who will not be very easily be able to make a transition to a BJP or an Aam Aadmi party or any of the regional parties, because they genuinely have certain emotional connect with the Congress. And that will be something which I believe Sonia Gandhi will have to play a role, because I don't see Rahul Gandhi or Priyanka Gandhi really having that maturity or wisdom to handpick these sort of people. They're still, I think, caught in their own perceptions, and sometimes the advisors, like Sunil Jakar was saying about the selection of Charanjit Channi in Punjab, which in hindsight, was a disaster. Or for that matter, even before that, appointing Sidhu as the head of the party in Punjab. So they can't be making these kind of mistakes, because that will set them back. The kind of momentum which has been gained in Udaipur has to be maintained, not only maintained, but it has to be built upon. And for that, you require a lot of deft handling, and that has to happen from within. And if you're saying the power or the real stakes lie with the Gandhis, they have to do it. No Prashant Kishore, no other, old family retainers can help in that. Thank you very much. See you again soon. Signing off, this is Sandip Ghose. If you like it, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, as well as press the bell icon.